Hello and welcome to Whitehorse Music TV! My name is Richard Bedinner and I'm co-owner of this wonderful shop with my lovely wife who's behind the camera. You can see her just there. Just look behind you. You'll be able to see. No, that's right, you can't see her. Anyway, yes, co-owner of this wonderful shop, and today I'm introducing to you the wonderful Gliga III cello, which is one of our most popular cellos, and the wonderful Struna Concert cello, which is also one of our most popular cellos. They're fantastic. That's the phone ringing. We're actually doing this during shop hours. So you might hear, police sirens, all sorts of stuff going on. Today we're doing this video in front of our new violin tree. The violins are on there because we're saying they're still growing, because they're little violins and they're still growing, and eventually they'll go onto the big wall and they'll be real big violins. Okay, so back to the cellos. First of all, we have the Gliga III. I'll play a little sound snippet. And Struna Concert. Now, I should say to start with that I'm demonstrating cellos that have been set up by ourselves at our wonderful shop, and they include all of our better parts, like we throw out the original horrible strings and put on these fantastic strings that are worth hundreds of dollars but make thousands of dollars of difference to the sound of the cello. We've thrown out the horrible bridges that come with the cellos. They supply horrible bridges because they know that when a cello is sent to a specialist cello shop, there'll be a luthier there, someone who carves wood and makes the better parts. But they send along dodgy parts just so that there's something there if a shop is going to sell it and doesn't have a luthier to make those better parts. So we've made that better bridge. We've made a new sound post for inside the cello. We've lowered the nut so it's easy to press down the strings and fix the pegs. So please don't, after listening to these videos, go out to a general music store and just grab one of these cellos, because it won't be the same. Preferably go out to a specialist shop and buy one that's been set up by an expert. Actually, preferably buy it from us. Second choice, go out to another specialty shop and buy it. Anyway, so I should go back to the cellos again. Now, the Gliga III, I think one of the best parts about that Gliga III is that it's been varnished, hand varnished with an oil varnish. Now, a lot of the cheaper cellos that you see out there just have a lacquer that's been thrown onto them. And you see these big, shiny cellos that have all this thick lacquer on them. Protects the cello very well, but it actually hurts the sound a lot, because when you're making a cello, you try to make the wood an exact sort of thickness when you're making the top of the cello, for instance. If you add an extra, like you're talking about a couple of millimeters and making sure it's right within a fraction of a millimeter, if you add 1.5 millimeters of thick varnish, it just puts all of that out. You can make a nice, deep, beautiful sounding cello sound like a toy with a horrible varnish. So this varnish is very important with the Gliga III. So they apply an oil varnish by applying one very thin layer, letting it set, which takes a long time, and then bringing it back, and then another layer, and so you get all these little fine layers, and in the end you end up with this multi-layered, very, very thin varnish. You can actually feel the wood underneath the varnish, and that allows it to vibrate the way you want it to. So anyway, I'll give this one another play, and then I'll give the Struna a play straight after, and we'll sort of diagnose the sound. extraordinarily mellow and round and beautiful. And you don't experience that with sort of cheap cellos usually. And that's the glory of the Gliga cellos. They have that beautiful mellow sound. It's not a massive sound. It's not something that projects hugely. When students go up to, say, grade 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 especially, Amos and above, they're not going to be necessarily using a Gliga cello because they don't have that real sort of fiery punch to them. But they do have a beautiful mellow sound that encourages students who are learning. You could sit in your bedroom for 6 hours playing this. Your fingers would probably be torn apart, but you could enjoy the sound of it as your fingers are slowly working away to being little nubs. Having said that, all that beautiful, kind words about the Gliga being so nice and mellow, I'll play this Struna Concert. So even after that first note, you can hear it's more volume, and it's sort of more ringing, more edge to the sound. So it's more of that sort of punchy sort of sound, but a little bit less of that mellow sort of sound. But mellow at the same time. If I wasn't comparing it to Gliga, I'd say it's a mellow sound. Got quite a bit of ring to it as well. I had someone at one stage bring into our shop a $200 and something thousand violin that I had to make all of these better parts to. It had so much of that ring that it filled the whole shop, and so I'm a bit in love with that sort of nice, beautiful ring thing. And this has some of that ring. So it sort of continues on after I use the bow, and that's something that's really beautiful when you're playing pieces. I'll try playing part of that bark thing on both of them so you can hear the amount of ring that comes out of them. You're playing the music, and as you're playing, it's sort of ringing around the notes, and it's sort of very enjoyable. I'll do the same with the Gliga. Not quite as much volume and not quite as much ring, but more of that sort of mellow sound that a lot of cellists like. It's really not with these two like, oh, you have to buy the Gliga, or oh, you have to buy the Struna or anything like that. They're just different. I should mention look-wise as well, because they're quite different. The Gliga is sort of almost one tone. It's more like sort of a new cello but made slightly faded to the sides, where the Struna, they've really gone for the sort of antiquing. There's actual physical scratches on here. Someone in the workshop's got out the keys and gone scratch, scratch, scratch to make it look antique. And they've done a really amazing job, so it looks like a beautiful dark antique cello. But they're both fantastic cellos, and I think you should buy both of them, preferably from our shop. And well, I mean, definitely from a specialist anyway, because you need those better parts. You could get a Gliga III cello and set it up with all of those better parts, or a Struna cello, and they'll just sound miles better than cellos that are worth thousands of dollars more. So that's the most important thing. But I mean, both as they are, they're fantastic cellos, and they both get the thumbs up at Whitehorse Music.